You might think you've seen everything football games have to offer, but this one feels different. The way players move, how space opens up, and how matches flow all just click in a way most games don't anymore. What you're watching is Football Life 26. Heavily modded across almost every part of the experience, from gameplay and audio to stadium atmosphere, crowd behavior, sideboards, boots, and a lot of small details that don't scream for attention but quietly change how the match feels. The goal here isn't realism for the sake of realism. It's consistency, the sense that what you see, what you hear, and how the game responds are all working together instead of pulling in different directions. And once that clicks, the matches start to flow in a very natural way. Dribbling becomes more about positioning than speed. Team play develops because players actually hold their roles. And goals tend to come from sequences that develop naturally across the pitch, instead of moments that feel forced or disconnected, which makes the matches feel more coherent and satisfying. You start noticing small details that quietly change how the match feels, like the way defenders adjust their position, how a teammate times a run into space, or how the ball reacts differently depending on how you touch it. The crowd, the stadium, the sidelines, they all add subtle layers that make the game feel more connected, and passing, movement, and positioning start to feel meaningful rather than random. Even the little things, like the sound of boots on the pitch or the way the sideboards catch your eye, contribute to the overall flow of the match. Goals come from patterns that build naturally rather than sudden breaks, and when it all comes together, the match feels coherent and satisfying without needing to be flashy or over the top. When you start a match here, the first thing that stands out is how playmaking feels less forced than in most football games. The ball moves at a pace that encourages you to think about your next pass, and it's not just about clicking a button and expecting something to happen. Long passes are satisfying because they require timing and positioning. If a teammate isn't moving into the right space, the pass doesn't magically find them, so you have to anticipate runs, read the pitch, and sometimes even delay the pass for half a second to make it effective. Through passes work the same way, giving you a real sense of control over how an attack develops. You notice patterns forming naturally, like when a midfielder shifts to create space or a forward drifts between defenders, and suddenly you're building sequences that feel like actual football instead of a pre-programmed routine. 1-2 passes and small combinations, almost like tiki-taka, feel intuitive because players respond to movement realistically. It's not perfect on every touch, but that imperfection is part of the appeal. It keeps you engaged, it makes you think, and it makes every successful combination feel earned. Even in the middle of a hectic match, you can rely on these patterns to create space. The defense reacts realistically, so timing a pass or moving the ball quickly to one side of the pitch can open gaps you didn't even see at first. And when a teammate finally finds themselves in a pocket of space and you slide the ball into them, it feels organic, almost like the match is teaching you how to play as you go. That kind of responsiveness makes playmaking more than just a set of controls. It becomes a dialogue between your decisions, your teammates, and the opponent. And the game gives you subtle feedback through positioning, pacing, and even the smallest shifts in movement. You start noticing how each decision has weight and how each pass can influence what happens next, not just in the immediate attack, but across the next few sequences of play. Dribbling in this game feels very natural once you spend a little time with it, because it doesn't push you toward doing anything fancy just to stay effective. You can use skills if you want, but you don't really need them to get past players or create space. Most of the time, small things matter more, like changing direction at the right moment, slowing down slightly, or speeding up just enough to catch a defender off balance. The game responds well to these movements, so even a simple touch to the side or a short pause can be enough to open things up. What stands out is how defenders react to your movement instead of just sticking to you perfectly. If you hesitate for a second or shift your body the wrong way on purpose, defenders often commit, and that gives you room to move into. In tight areas, this makes dribbling feel more thoughtful rather than rushed, because you're paying attention to positioning and timing instead of just inputs. It feels less like you're trying to beat the game and more like you're reading the situation and responding to it. As the match goes on, dribbling naturally becomes part of the overall flow of play. You might carry the ball for a few steps, draw a defender in, then release a pass, or use a short change of pace to create a passing angle instead of going straight for goal. It's simple, it's effective, and it fits into the rhythm of the match without ever needing to be flashy or overdone. There's also a nice balance in how much freedom you have versus how much responsibility. If you overdo it, defenders will catch you, but if you stay aware of your surroundings and make small adjustments, you're often rewarded with space or time. That balance makes every touch feel intentional, and it encourages you to stay engaged with the flow of the match instead of falling into repetitive patterns. Over a full match, these small dribbling moments start to add up. You begin to recognize situations where carrying the ball is the right choice, and others where a quick release makes more sense. That decision-making becomes second nature, and dribbling stops being a separate action and just becomes part of how you move the ball around the pitch, blending smoothly with passing, positioning, and overall team play. I'll be uploading a full playlist of tutorials on realistic dribbling very soon, so stay tuned for that. Shooting in this game feels clear and consistent, and it connects closely to how the attack develops before the shot is taken. The way the ball travels depends on your position, the angle, and the timing of your input, so even small adjustments when approaching goal can change the outcome in noticeable ways. Shots from the edge of the box, chances that come from short passing sequences, or quick attempts after moving into space all behave in a way that feels predictable without being repetitive, which makes it easier to stay focused on the flow of the match rather than thinking about mechanics. You start noticing how players react differently depending on whether they are balanced, slightly off position, or under pressure, and that creates a sense of control that feels natural over time. What works well is how shooting fits into the overall rhythm of play. Sometimes the right decision is to take the shot early. Sometimes it's better to wait for one more touch or one more pass, and the game supports both without forcing a specific outcome. Goals tend to come from situations that build logically, where movement, spacing, and timing line up, and when the ball goes in, it usually feels like the natural result of the play rather than something unexpected. And if this video reaches 500 likes, I'll make a separate video focused entirely on shooting across different football games, breaking down how these moments are handled and what works best in each one. That's it for this one. Appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.